O Father in heaven, may my message be spoken freely and in truth. Give me the words to express fully what I've gone through and how I've become born again in your name, Jesus Christ. Hey everybody. I've been thinking a lot recently, and it's time for me to give my testimony. I just got done mowing, so a little out of breath, and I'm beginning a new chapter in my life. I want to be right with God, and I want to get everything out on the table. So, if you are close to me or a family member, this might be a little hard to hear. This is just your warning. So, my parents got a divorce when I was around 6 years old. I didn't really know what to think of it. I wasn't really sure what divorce meant. My mom was lonely and needed someone to love her. She got remarried again, and at this time, there was a manipulation of my purity, and I was too young to go through this at the time, and it set off for challenges ahead. Sorry, there's a lot of bugs over here. I was introduced to sexual immorality, and I fell into the addiction of porn or adult content. And I was so young that I held it inside because I was in fear of being judged or looked at like I was weird or not normal. Even as I grew a little bit older, I was still uncomfortable with what I had held in, and I had guilt and shame for doing what I did. Once I got old enough that it was socially acceptable, I found a girlfriend, and that started the fornication in my life. I thought that's what love meant. I thought that since I had had that feeling before, that this is what it was supposed to mean. I didn't want to be like other guys that only looked for that. I thought I cared because I had a feeling, and I always wanted to treat women with respect, but I didn't know what it meant to be a man. I was insecure and shy. I didn't choose things that were right for other people. I based them off of feelings internally. I lied to get out of uncomfortable situations or conflict. I knew deep down I was a good person, but these things just kept coming up. I had a few girlfriends, and by 19 and 20, I was fully in the world. I started smoking weed, and my father went through some addictions of his own, and I knew these. So I stayed away from alcohol, trying it a few times just to know that it wasn't for me. But in college, I started smoking marijuana, and I thought that this was an okay thing for me because I was already an introvert, so I felt that when I'm alone, it was okay for me to do these things. It was a period of my life where I got to reflect a lot, but I also found that I sought out easy dopamine. And I learned that dopamine is the reward system. It's for when you do something hard. It's for when you accomplish something. And I went through a very hard breakup for me. This girl that I was trying to help, she had been hurt before, and I thought that I could fix her. I thought that if I helped her with her health and her mental state, that we would be a good fit. And I later realized that she was someone that I was trying to find my father in. She was super into rock and roll and metal, and I liked those things because of my dad. She also drank and did some drugs, and I didn't know how to help her. I also started being vegan around that time, and I tried too hard to force my opinions on health and my ethics onto her, which only pushed her away. Even though I cared for her, I still wasn't the man that I needed to be. After the breakup, I was devastated. I was alone. I was broken. And this led me to do a disgusting act against one of my friends from high school. I chose to reach out to his girlfriend that was being mistreated in the same way that I felt I was mistreated in my relationship. I was only thinking for myself, and I was trying to seek some sort of validation for myself. And this took them out of my life. And I was very hurt, and I had a lot of shame towards that act. But I think the breakup and the loss of my friends really showed me how much I needed God in my life. I was thinking a lot about good and evil at this time, and a lot of my social media, I was gearing towards this subject of God and spirituality, and I started having some experiences, especially when I was smoking marijuana, and I was deeply thinking about my life and what I had gone through. I was done with the bad acts of my life, and I was ready to move forward and finally do the self-development that I had been trying to do for other people. So, leading up to my 23rd birthday, I said, this is going to be my Jordan year, the best year of my life, where I make the things happen that I've wanted for so long. I wrote goals, and I had a plan for how to achieve these. I thought it was going to be all from my own doing. I thought if I made the correct choices, I could change my life. I decided to stop smoking weed. I decided to start doing hard things. I decided to start doing cold plunges in the morning and to seek hard things and to get away from the cheap dopamine of this world. And just into a month of my self-development year, I was listening to audiobooks, and I read a book recommended by my dad. And this really opened my eyes to how things aren't coincidences in life. You have decisions, but when things pop in your life unexpectedly, that's not a coincidence. You're meant to go through certain things based on your choices. And I was really wanting to help myself. And my grandma reached out and said, hey, you've been reading and you've been listening to audiobooks. Why don't you read the chapter of Luke, the book of Luke, up until Christmas? There's 24 chapters in the book, and there's 24 days leading up to Christmas. So I accepted the challenge, and I got into the Word. There were days where I didn't feel like doing it. There were days where it brought me to question what I had thought about Christianity in the past. I had gone to church as a kid, and I always felt a draw towards the worship music, but I didn't have life experience to contrast with the teachings of the Bible. As we got towards the end, I told my grandma I would like to keep reading the Bible, and she offered a 52-week read through the Bible plan, a way to read through the Bible, and we could do it together, stay accountable. And I started on that journey. The days were broken up into different categories, so history, the law, poetry, the Psalms, Gospels, and I started reading every day. There were a few days where I didn't get it done in the morning like I'd planned, and I finished it at night, and I just kept pushing along and reading and reading and reading, and I started diving into more content on social media about Jesus, and I got my schedule switched at work, so I was off on Sundays. I started going to church by myself at the church that we went to as a kid. It was really impactful, and my mom helped me get in connection with the pastor's wife, and I got into the young adults group, and it has been great fellowship and a chance to socialize with like-minded people. And I don't know exactly when, but I realized that this year wasn't because of me. It was because Jesus had called my name. And I gave my life to him. The experiences that I've had are truly life-changing. And to think back to just a year ago, I was living in the world, addicted to corn, smoking marijuana, trying to find deep satisfaction in lust. And I wasn't responsible. I was still learning how to be a man, which I still am. But I've come so far, and I feel like a completely new person. Week after week, going to church, listening to worship music in the car now, reading my Bible every day, having connections with random strangers that just pop into my life that are Christians, and then they leave. And I found a specific teaching moment in each of those. I wouldn't be where I am today without Christ. And I'm excited to move forward in my faith and to grow as a child of God. There might be some stuff I left out, but I'm excited to document this journey as well. I'd like to share my faith and to give lessons on the things that I've learned, to disciple others, and to bring others towards the only way to salvation. I'm so excited for this next year, and I can't wait to bring it to you guys. Spread peace, love, and positivity. Enjoy the rest of your day.